Howdy AGP students, this level will cover functions. Functions can be graphed as a line or as a function in the form of a simple equation. The equation 3x equals 2y plus 4 is a function. So is 4 equals y plus the root of x. These are all functions. The difference between functions and regular equations is that functions are written as f of x, g of x, or something similar to this. So you'll actually be given the function and then a variable of some sort in parentheses. And this f of x or g of x, it's simply replacing the y in the standard form equation of y equals mx plus b. Always remember that f of x is the same thing as y. So when you actually go to graph these functions, the f of x is the y. And then the variable x is going to be your x component. A function is just another way of assigning a number to another. You may have heard this called mapping. Another good way to think about this is as a machine. And this function, it applies a rule to some input. So we start with an input number that we call x or any other variable t or n. We apply this function, and the function just equals this rule, and the output is the result of this applying this rule to that value. On the SAT, when you have these function problems, you need to make sure you recognize what information you are given. Are you given the rule, are you given the input, or are you given the output? Let's take a look at the common format of a function. Here you can see f of x equals x squared plus 2. This f signifies that it's a function, and then the x in parentheses is the input. So the standard form of this is f of variable x, and the rule is x squared plus 1. So this is the output. So typically what you'll see is they'll give you this standard rule, and then they'll ask you to solve for, let's say, f of 9. So they'll have a 9 in this instead of the x, and then you simply plug the 9 into this rule and you get some output. In some problems, when you have the output rule, the formula has an unknown constant. When this unknown constant is in the rule, you can be sure of two things. The SAT will ask you to find the value of that constant, and you'll be given the input and output. And here's a quick example of that. You can see that this function is very similar to the last. We have the function name, g, of t, instead of an x we have a t here, is equal to the rule, b times t minus t squared. So in this problem, we'll be given the output value, and we'll be given some t value, and we'll have to find this constant, this b value. So be on the lookout for that. Let's go ahead and take a look at our first example problem. Here, the problem states, let function f be defined by f of x equals x squared plus 1. Find f of 9. So in this case, we have the rule, x squared plus 2, and we're going to plug in 9 for x. So we simply have our equation, we plug in our 9, so now we have f of 9 equals 9 squared plus 1. We'll go ahead and use the calculator and take 9 squared equals 81, then we'll add 1 to it, and our value is simply 82. So we'll work that out. 81 plus 1 is 82. So f of 9 is 82. Now let's take a look at our second example. Here they kind of rearrange the function. So they have let function f be defined by f of x equals x squared plus 1. So it's the same rule we had before. And they want us to find the value of 1 divided by f of 1/2 minus 1. So this looks a little more tricky, but we just set the problem up and substitute in that 1/2 for the x in the rule, and then perform the other operations. So here we substitute in our rule, 1/2 squared plus 1 minus 1. So then we can simplify this. 1 divided by 1 minus 1 is 0, and 1/2 squared is 1/4. We'll go ahead and get our calculator out, and we'll square 1/2. So 1 divided by 2, that equals 0.5. X squared equals 0.25, which is the same as 1 over 4. So we'll do 1 divided by 4 equals 0.25. So since we have 1 divided by 1/4, let's use our calculator again. So we have 1 divided by 0.25, and that's going to equal 4. And so this problem simplifies to 4. Now let's take a look at example problem 3. Again, we're given the rule f of x equals x squared plus 2. And the question asks, if f of a equals 10 and a is less than 0, find a. So take a couple of minutes, see if you can work through this problem, apply the rule, and see what you come up with. We'll go over this in class, of course.